Now, we're going to have a fantastic conversation this morning with a group that has made waves not just in one geographical area of the world, but the entire globe. And I remember a few years ago, a couple of years ago, when this song dropped, People Like You, and I was just, this was goosebumps, you know. And of course, you know, Wash Away the Tears and all of that. And they're right here in studio. I have with me Roy, Peter, and Mima Latel. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, so I gave you the government names. Let's go around. So this is Grams Morgan.
Yes.
We have Peter Morgan. And then we have Mr. Mojo.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good,
Welcome
brother.
to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
All right. So I know that you're doing a tour right now, pushing your latest album. This is Homeland, The Homeland. Now, I want to understand the idea behind this album, The Homeland. Who's going to take it?
So The Homeland is an ode to our ancestors in Jamaica and Africa. Musically, we're going to take the audience on a journey culturally across these two regions where we combine and fuse together the sounds across the continent, not just Afro beats from Nigeria and Ghana, but we're going to tap into the tribal sounds even when you talk about Baifal and Wolof from Senegal, and you talk about Sebin guitars from the Congo region, bongo flavor in Tanzania, and Amapiano in South Africa, and a lot of different things. So it's more of an Afrofusion world music album, but at the end of the day, you're going to hear Jamaica there with the reggae and dancehall combined with the sounds of Africa.
Yeah. Now, I just want to dovetail a little bit into the conversation about reggae, because we're talking earlier on, and one of the things that for me has sat with me when listening to reggae, and of course the Bob Marley and his heritage that has spread all over the world. What would you say is responsible for the power and the spread of reggae music?
It all starts with the people. It's a music that comes from the grassroots of Jamaica. From the suffering community. And it's the way we get to express ourselves and for our voice to be heard. Because if we depend upon TV and news, our story is not truly told. So we sing about it. And that story is reflective to many people around the world that have the same story. So they gravitate to the message within the music, gravitate to the vibration. So we end up speaking for a multitude of people across the world. And that is how reggae gets to spread globally.
Yeah, fantastic. Bambulele, that's the first on the album. Talk to us about that.
So Bambulele was, interestingly enough, one of the last songs we completed on the album creatively. We always like to have intros every now and then on the album, and we didn't know what we were going to use. And Gramps ran into this social media post by a choir from Cape Town called Brothers and Sisters Art Organization. And when he shared it with Peter and myself, we knew that embodied the sound that we wanted to capture. We didn't know what it meant. We didn't know Bambulele, what it was. We didn't know what Mbube music was, which is a traditional choral hymn, normally songs of mourning. So when we got in touch with them, with our co-producer of the album, Jusa Dumenter from Zimbabwe, we got to understand why they sing that song, which is comforting for them because of the rise of GBV, gender-based violence in South Africa. My recent trip to Johannesburg enlightened us about the Soweto uprising and Hector Peterson and what happened there on June 15th, 1976, when the police opened fire against children that were protesting, against being taught in a language that was foreign to them in Afrikaans. So imagine growing up, speaking traditional Ghanaian language, and then you're being told that, hey, you got to learn your whole entire curriculum in French. So the song continued to evolve in terms of its meaning and what it meant. And we couldn't recreate that. So we ended up using the audio from the social media post, and that became Bambulele.
Wow. Now, I noticed that on the album, I mean, you're featuring so many different artists from across the continent. You have some Nigerians in there. We have, Francophone Africa in there. Yusun Dur, of course. But you have 3 from Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah, Rocky is in there, Shatawale is in there, and Stoneboy is in there.
Blame Gramps for that.
Okay, Gramps, what's the reason for that one?
I'm sorry. I have a favorite. I'm sorry. But there's just something special about Ghana that resonates, ever since growing up as Rastafarians and President J.J. Rollins, rest in peace, when he came to Jamaica at the stadium and empowered the community to say, come back to Africa. Wow. He was on a Caribbean tour, and when he came to a stadium, and it was full. And he said, even I was speaking to his wife, and she was there, and was talking about that trip to Jamaica, that he was saying, Ghana is the gateway to Africa. So it was something that we grew up always hearing between Ghana and Kenya. My father, because they speak English, so my father said, one day we're going to move to Africa. So within, me coming the first time to Ghana, I discovered Stoneboy by the way of our friend Reggie Rockstone, that first invited us, and my sister Nina Atala. And from there, we just started discovering Ghanaian artists, because the first time we had this, was like a showcase. It was a Gramps Morgan welcoming. And then I went back on tour, and I said to my brothers, yo, this kid named Stoneboy, he sounds like he's from Jamaica. And then a couple months after, I called him and I said, we should bring this kid on tour to help Africa, to help bring Ghanaian music out more, because people like Rocky Dwayne has been an ambassador for the music for many years. There's sometimes we're in Los Angeles and Rocky Dwayne is here, and then we jump on a plane and we're in New York, Rocky Dwayne is there. I mean, this man is an ambassador. And then Shatta Wale is just an artist that we see that has this revolution and this fire spirit that we say, yo, this man is like a true Jamaican, this fire. So it just makes us identify, even as Jamaicans, the connection between Jamaica and Ghanaians. Because truly in our heart, we feel like out of all the countries that we've come from, within the transatlantic slave trade, it's between Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Ghana. But it's one of our favorites. But just throughout the time of us doing shows in Ghana, not Ghana, but Africa, we discovered Josie Chameleon in Kenya, and I said to Peter, yo, you gotta see this guy. He's like the Michael Jackson. And then, Diamond Platnumz from Tanzania, which is not on the album because we did like 2 songs with him. So we wanted to keep it kind of, give other people a chance fresh. Artists from Zambia, that we've never really done a full concert before. But it's just our times over traveling throughout Africa that we've discovered some of these artists that we want to feature. Ja Praiser from Zimbabwe. So out of this, we're going to feel good to say that we've built the bridge from the Caribbean to Africa.
No, it's beautiful. I mean, 17 songs on the album. That's
21.
21?
Yeah.
Ooh.
21 albums. Okay. On the 21st, today, the album is available everywhere, so go stream it and download it.
Wait, 21 albums on the 21st. That's interesting. Very poetic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And wow. This album could easily be 2 albums. Why'd you do so many songs on one album?
It wasn't by design. It was divine design, as Gramps said to us this morning, because we didn't know that the Homeland was going to become this movement and become such a historic project where we're featuring artists from across 11 countries in Africa, Europe, Jamaica, the Caribbean, and America, and have such an impact on the diaspora. For us, we couldn't say no. Yeah. When the music spoke to us, we weren't in a position to say we're not going to do that. The music really dictated who we were going to feature, and we just followed that guidance, that divine guidance, and it became the Homeland. So we're grateful.
Fantastic. Now, is there any song? Okay, let me ask, Peter. What's your favorite on the album?
Mojo said something yesterday, and it's kind of true. Like every time someone asks us, we say a different song. But
so for
2
today,
songs that today,
what's your favorite?
I love all the features. Let me just put that disclaimer out.
Okay.
There's a song that we wrote on the album for parents in our age group.
Okay.
It's called "They're Gonna Be Alright."
Oh wow.
Song number 17. So all parents, whoever get the album, that song is for all
They're
parents.
Gonna be all right.
the way our parents used to worry about our future, it's the same way we worry about our children's future. But the reality is, the terms of the future is based on them, because the future is theirs. So we just say they're gonna be all right. We need to, we as the parents, we need to bring down the level of worrying and relax.
Which of the songs would you guys do for us? Freestyle, just a few seconds, you know, just give us something.
We do just a number.
I should choose a number?
Just a number.
Oh, just a number. You do just a number.
Yeah,
And explain what it means.
Number 9.
Because the message in that song is very serious. Explain
about
about
the cancel culture.
Yeah, so Just a Number touches on a topic that young entertainers face because of the speed in which they become successful. They're not prepared. There's not enough talent development going into the youth today in this digital space. And what happens is that they don't intend to become role models, but inadvertently it happens naturally because they're public figures that become so famous overnight. And they say things or do things that offend a certain sector or someone, and all of a sudden they lose everything that they worked so hard for. And it's really not fair. So we want to speak to those in the industry that are guiding the talent that we have to do a better job in preparing the youth for what is to come, and to give them a sense of responsibility, not to censor them, but to let them understand that if you do this, there will be consequences. So don't play the victim when you hear about being canceled. So that whole cancel culture thing, it's real today and it's going nowhere. So it's just us being mindful and being aware of the world that we live in today, not 20 years ago.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yes.
We are just a number.
Number.
So name ain't
Word
worth a
thing.
thing. And if we want fame, then we have to sing.
Yeah.
Play bar and track and all sorts of thing. While them collect the ring, them and we are
Just a number.
and say we name ain't
Word
worth a
thing.
thing. Position of power, it control everything.
Uh-huh.
If we not up there, then we not reach nowhere.
No
Then we
reach.
not reach nowhere.
Nowhere.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you think that, and Mr. Mojo, I want to come back to you on this one. Do you think that there's a disconnect between how fast people are being thrown out there and having to be responsible, and you know the fact that I'm not grown enough yet, I have not experienced enough yet, but suddenly there are a million people following me, you know, and so I have to be this big adult for them, but I'm not grown enough. I'm still growing. I'm still discovering myself. What are your thoughts on what's going on now?
So here's the reality. It's not just for the youths, because you have the veterans that are being affected by this, people that have established their careers, that work their whole life, blood, sweat, and tears, and they also do one thing wrong or say something,
and then
suddenly they lose all their endorsements. Nobody wants to represent them anymore. They can't get any more bookings. They can't write any more books. Nobody wants to read their material. So it's not just about sports, music, film, or theater entertainment, right? Or it's more about the creative space. Because corporations make mistakes every day that hurt lives.
It's true.
And they don't lose their billions and trillions. Yet we, as the creative minds on this planet, we are affected drastically for one thing. And
it almost feels as though we are being held to a different standard.
that is it. So
So
instead of complaining about it, you know, as what Father teach, we first looking at ourselves and see what could you have done different to avoid this situation. Because ain't nobody going to feel sorry for you.
No. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at Just a Number, this video.
Morgan Heritage. Yeah, man.
We now see the world
Kareem, see it.
through brand new eyes.
It's real, nephew.
Whoa,
See it now.
yeah.
Put the conscience. You hear that?
Money in your pocket and you have a hot car. Your friends call you hot star. You think you rich, yeah? Look at the bigger picture. Them and we have just a number. And say we name ain't worth a thing. And if we want fame, then we have to sing. Play bar and track and all sorts of thing. While them collect the ring, them and we have just a number. And say we name ain't worth a thing. Position of power, control everything. If we not up there, then we not reach nowhere, then we not reach nowhere. Yeah. Sign a lifetime contract, you still have a boss.
Still have a boss.
And if you violate your contract, you will lose it all.
We'll lose it all.
Yeah, don't be blinded by the few that they let through to brandish millions, even billions. It's all a part of their plan to have us chasing dreams of fiction. Yeah, them are we are just a number. And say we name ain't worth a thing. And if we want fame, then we have to sing. Play ball, run track and all start a thing. While them collect the ring, them are we are just a number. And say we name ain't worth a thing. Position of power, you control everything. If we not up there, then we not reach nowhere, then we not reach nowhere. Yeah.
With diamonds and gold, many they control. Now don't you be blind, know that it's all for a time. They want you think to support your brother, it is a failure. They rather you give your money to stranger. Now are you picking up, picking up, picking up, picking up? Now be wise.
Them we are just a number. And say the name ain't worth a thing. And if we want fame, then we have to sing. Play ball, run track and all start a thing. While them collect the ring, them we are just a number. And say the name ain't worth a thing. Position of power, you control everything. If we not up there, then we not reach nowhere, then we not reach nowhere. Yeah.
Simpler times call for simpler things. Breaking it down, simpler goals call for simpler strings. To be pulled, connect the dots and build your kingdom, my king. Cherish the days we live long enough to see our dreams. Top of the heat, careful not to get too deep. Code of the streets will lay you out and put you 6 foot deep. Hustle day and night just to survive. And if you make a mistake, become a number for life. Yeah.
And say we name ain't worth a thing. And if we want fame, then we have to sing. Play ball, run track and all start a thing. While them collect the ring, them and we are just a number. And so we name ain't worth a thing. Position of power, you control everything. If we not up there, then we not reach nowhere, then we not reach nowhere.
Yeah, man. Morgan heritage to the year 3000 and beyond. That's what say. XTM nation to the world. CTBC, yo.
Wow. Wow. You know, even the fact that you chose that particular setting to shoot the video is a commentary on a lot of things in life. I mean, I'm seeing in there the whole idea of competition, how people feel that they are in competition with others, in an arena of competition, where you use the podium, 1, 2, 3, you know, in there. There's a prize for coming first, second, third. It's all, you know. I just looking at it and I'm like, I like this. This is quite a lot. It's very deep.
Yeah. Never heard that perspective before.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
It's very deep. Yeah, I like it. Like you said, it's divine. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so the song, the album, or should I say that? Yeah, the album title, Homeland, the song Homeland. Why did you choose to feature Youssou N'Dour?
To us, Youssou, we're living in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
And when you talk about an artist that embodies Africa,
Yeah.
Youssou is that for us.
By the way, I don't disagree with you. I actually think you're. I think you're making a very good choice.
We have great artists. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
if you were to put one of these artists to stand in front of the United Nations,
Yes.
or to stand in front of Congress in America
Yes.
and explain Africa,
Yeah.
we could depend on Youssou N'Dour for that. So he's like a godfather, a father, a big brother.
Yeah.
You know, that can educate us.
And to many African artists, I believe people also see him here
yes.
in the same way. And I've heard people like Stonebwoy, for example, talk about him.
Yes.
You know, in very glowing ways.
Yes.
So,
He's like a godfather, like, you know, the Fela Kute's that were once there, the Miriam Makibas, you know, the Angela Kijos. Youssou is now that for us that we look up as an African artist, the Lucky Dubes, who is not here with us anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a great point that Peter says where, you know, I remember being on tour when we met you, so it was like, you know, at that point we didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Our dad was with us at that time. It was in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And he came on stage and it was like, whoa, just all the drummers and the talking drum, and it was like, it was a movement, and then you felt the spirit of Africa in this European country. So we understood at the time the power of music, that music can transcend and take you to another place. So that's why it's important to us to even on this album to that we bring, you know, a Shatta Wale on the same album as a Shaggy, which is very with a Mr. Lover, and then somebody with like Yusu and Dora that has been very tackle issues within Africa, you know, water pollution and, you know, hygiene and sanitation. Those things are important to us, the way I think is going to, you know, when the movie Black Panther came out, everybody wanted to wear a daishiki.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been there.
I know,
We've
right?
the Rastaman. We've been saying that, saying, yo,
Yeah.
consciousness,
Yeah.
take care of your community. Don't kill your brother and sister. You know, when that message was being out, when Black Panther came out, everyone was willing to wear a dashiki.
Yeah.
We've
But you've been
there.
talking this and doing this for a long time.
So we want to live it. We, you know, we are musicians, so the connection with Africa is important for us. We don't want to just talk Africa. We want to live it. So we are ambassadors of music.
I love it. Now, 12 albums, 13th one has dropped today. How are you guys still together since 1992 and before? And many other, you know, groups like yours will struggle after a few years.
Our parents, you know, our father and our mothers instilled a value in us, and especially our father. He always told us that your greatest success will always be your togetherness. So no matter, you know, how many awards you achieve and how many stages you perform on, if you can't stay together, that means nothing. So we pride ourselves on our togetherness. We have our fights, our disagreements, because we're human beings. But the greatest thing is, another thing he taught us, is never let the sun wake up with your wrath, or never let the sun go down with your wrath. So if me and Gramps fight today, or me and Mojo fight today, we got to solve this issue before the sunrise tomorrow.
So Peter and Mojo fight, who wins?
Depends on what we're fighting about. It depends, you know.
Who wins is the right thing.
The right is what wins.
That is the right answer.
So, okay.
Well, you know, I'm not talking about physical.
No, I
cannot
understand
fight
that.
it.
No, I mean, I'm looking at him. I'm wondering how you can be.
So when we talk about fight, talk about arguments and disagreements.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the right will win.
So, in terms of the rollout of the launching of the album, what's next? What's the next thing? And
We're headed to the UK after this to continue the promotional tour. We started at the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles.
LA? Yeah.
And then we ended up in New York, Paris. We did Uganda. We're here tonight. All roads lead to Oasis Lounge, where we're going to play some songs. Maybe give a little backstory, but we're really just going to celebrate because the album is the #1 world music album on the planet
today.
and we've never released a world music album before. So tonight we may change the script from trying to give the backstory and just let's have a drink and just listen to the music and have fun, and then we head off to do a music video with Shatta Wale for the next single, Ready, which also features Jose Chameleon, and the UK, Here We Come. And then the world tour kicks off at the New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival on May 4th.
World tour. How long are you going to go for?
I think right now we're doing spot dates because last year was so heavy on us, you know, with the loss of our father, Mr. Denver Morgan. And we still went out there because our father would have want us to go do your work. You know, that's how we were raised, very militant and very serious. So even though he had passed away, we still had to go on tour because we knew that's what our father would. Yeah, man. So this year we're celebrating our culture. We're celebrating our success of the amount of time that we've been in this music and bringing Africa and Jamaica together. So, you know, like Peter said, we're going to be performing alongside people like Jill Scott at the New Orleans Jazz Festival, Ed Sheeran, Angela Kidjo, Wu-Tang Clan. It's a big festival in New Orleans. So to represent reggae music with the Homeland album on that show, we're going to feel very like...
No, I'm sure you
Yeah,
are. Oh, I'm sure you are.
We're going to feel good.
It's a huge album. I mean, oh, man.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of longevity and in terms of, let me say, power and influence musically, what would you say is more important? The practice of music or spirituality behind the music?
I would say the practice behind music, because with music, some people use music as in gospel music, it is used to preach the word of Christ, right? It is a spiritual experience. But you have some people that utilize music to party. Okay. So you can't just put music for just one purpose. You know, when Saul came to heal the king, it was a thing where it was healing. It was a so music has many music has multi-purpose. Okay. So for us, spiritual. And when people listen to this album, a lot of people, you know, this thing is done in 1 million streams already. It's not even 24 hours. So the people that are connecting it's not even a lot of our reggae fans that love, you don't have to be right and tell me I'll come down by the river. So when they listen to it, they're like, ooh. This is a conceptual album that we are building the bridge from the diaspora to Africa, to encourage people to come to Africa, whether you want to live, invest, or just to visit, the same way you visit London or Miami. This is what we want this album to invoke. So it's not really a full reggae album. You know, I was telling our brother Cash this morning when it went #1, we were celebrating my brother Papalaji. We said it's #1 and it's not the reggae album chart. It's the world music chart. And this is a first for us. So I want to take the time. Which camera am I?
The middle.
Middle. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take the time to big up my brother Mojo. Because this album, I'm so proud of him, because throughout the time, I mean, we went through a lot. From this album was being made even when our father wasn't, you know, about to make his transition, and he has worked so hard. We all have children, we all have families, you know, but we still have to continue the work. So to make it through, I'm so proud of him, because he's worked so diligently with our label CTBC Music Group, which means Cool to Be Conscious Music, right? So you know, so he's been a champion on this album. Of course, Peter is an incredible songwriter, and I'm still growing as a songwriter. So as a team, but he's really championed him. So Mojo, in front of the world, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job.
I love it. Maybe a quick one more freestyle for us, please.
We're gonna do a classic.
Okay.
Classic.
All right.
You don't have to dread to be Rasta. You don't have to dread. This is not a dreadlocks thing. Divine conception of your heart. River Jordan. Don't be afraid of your ever-burning fire. Oh, no. Trust in your fire and you never get burned. Oh, yeah. The fire that rains over heat, air, and water. Not to tell them, no water can put out your fire. The fire gonna leave Rasta higher. You don't have to dread to be Rasta.
Morgan Heritage.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us, David.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
It's been fantastic.
Go out and stream it. Run it up. Go out and stream it. It's available on Boomplay, which is a great platform for African music. Go and check it out on Boomplay, Spotify, Tidal, and make sure all of our fans, please follow us on social media. We want to engage. Mojo is on there. Peter will answer you. I may answer you. So follow us. Audiomack. Follow us at Morgan Heritage. iTunes. Follow us at Morgan Heritage. And we want to big up to our brethren, Shatawale, Stoneboy, Rocky Doheny, because we are in Ghana. Yes, thank you. We did it. Number one world music charts. Now, it's tonight. It's where? Oasis?
10 p.m. at Oasis Lounge.
Okay.
So get there early, because it's going to fill up really, really fast.
All right. How do they
we'll push back the time.
How do they get involved?
12 p.m.
How do they get in, if they want
8
to
p.m.
It's only by special invitation.
Special invitation.
Yeah,
Alright,
so the media, if you're a media house, come on out. But it's not an open public.
Okay.
We're just giving the media a chance and the industry.
Okay.
So, we're going to be there with our music industry friends, my Reggie Rockstone, the Shatta Wale, the Rocky Oene, the people. But it's not a full Morgan, it's not Morgan Heritage in concert. No. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
So if you got the invite from, our CTBC team over at Rave Media, make sure you reply and RSVP. Super. Big up the entire team and Rudy Kwachi and everybody for all that they're doing for us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much to Morgan Heritage. It's been a wonderful conversation. Well, I just love their music and their energy and their, the togetherness is everything. And I just love the fact that they've been around for this long, leaving a very good example, for the rest of the younger creatives to follow. All right, we'll be right back. Breakfast Daily has a few more things to come.